morning.
Good morning.
All right. So today I want to start off and talk a little bit because in the morning times, like I usually take my time out and I have like my morning prayers and my meditation. And during my prayer and meditation, I usually take time out to always evaluate where I am, where the world is. And where does this fit in the prophecies and the new understanding that I have gained from these Aramaic texts? And while I'm doing this, the idea comes into place is, the world is inching closer and closer to war. So I wanted to look, and I went on YouTube to look at some potential models of what would happen after World War III and what a conventional war would look like. Because right now we're in proxy war. If you don't know the different types of warfare, one is a proxy war where you kind of fight through somebody else. So America likes this proxy warfare. They can throw weapons and resources behind somebody else to fight an enemy that they want to see weakened. That's what proxy war is. So right now we're in a proxy war. So I know how, proxy wars work, and, you see it all the time. We'll make these people fight these people and civil unrest, and they kind of destroy themselves until they're a non-factor, Then I wanted to see what a conventional war looked like and what the outcome would be. Conventional war is direct, like the U.S. and China really fight like World War I, World War II. So I looked at that. And then I looked at what the nuclear war fallout would look like. And I found something like disturbing. Like, did you know that in a nuclear war, everything will be over in about 7 hours?
Wow. 7 hours?
7 hours. All munitions could be spent in about 7 hours. And it just levels all the major nations or whatever. Now, you would say, oh, well, that's horrible, So if you look at it, and they showed like in a conventional war, it could take years. In a proxy war, it takes even more years. It's a slower fight. But a nuclear war, if there was ever to be a nuclear fallout, it would just come down to 7 hours. Just 7 hours, and, the war is pretty much decided. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's licking their wounds, and the fallout of people dying continues on for about a few years. Just the side effects. So for 10 years after, people are still dying from the effects of the war, not just the war itself. So the war will be over in 10 hours, but people will continue to die from the side effects of the war for 10 years. But that wasn't what I was looking for. What I was looking at was what is the aftermath? What happens after the war? Did you know that in no scenario, none, not any scenario, is there a place for us as a people? Like in no scenario, everybody goes to war, The population of the entire world goes down to about 500 million people. And in that, there is still no country for African Americans. No nation. 500 million people. Right now, the world has 8 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to cut the world down to 500 million people with a nuclear war, right? And there's still no place and no country for African Americans to call their own. As a matter of fact, they still see themselves somehow jockeying power after something like this. They still see themselves. And I'm going to just tell you, anytime you are under the delusion, this is a delusion now. Anytime you are under the delusion to where in every scenario, you win and remain in power, you're absolutely insane. You are drunk with power. So they don't see themselves in any way losing control over anything. Like they have strategies about, setting up new proxy governments, where they would establish them, for what reasons, what they're doing, why they're doing. They've accounted for small groups to form little militias and how they would garner some to their side, to their cause, how they would finance them, and they have all these strategies about how they can destroy everything and then regain power, and to get power to come back and rule the whole of the earth, the entire thing, which is their goal. And during my morning prayer and meditation, I just recognize the great evil and the delusion that these people have, because at no point are they ever going to keep this law. Ever. Never. They have no plan. They don't care nothing about this. The only people who care about this or trying to achieve it is right in front of you in this camera. And everybody is watching social media or their own forms of entertainment, trying to blind their own eyes from this reality, from the reality of, we hope that they only destroy themselves and not us. But a population decline from 8 billion to anywhere to 500 to 800,000, right? That is 1 out of every 1,000 people survive. Just think about that for a second. 1 person out of every 1,000 people. So if there are 10,000 people in your city, there's only 10 of you left. That's in your town, in your neighborhood. And this is not even densely populated areas. This is lesser populated areas, right? So you're talking 1 in 1,000. You think about this for a second. They plan themselves to be shielded in their bunkers and to crawl out and have some form of organization that they will, come back, and it's easier for them to have power over the world in this demolished state, because they hope to preserve some weapons, technologies, food, and supplies to subjugate people, because they're prepared and facilitated for an aftermath scenario. And you're talking about literally the whole world is 8 billion people on the world, and you're going to reduce that to 0.1% of it. So you like 1 in every 1,000, 1 in every 10,000, something like that. That's what we're looking at today. So in my morning prayer and meditation, I just really wanted everyone to kind of understand why I'm at least trying or attempting to teach you the law and to get us to pull together even just a small group, just a few. Because when the world population drops, this globally now, so this globally, okay? So the major powers, everybody's going to make sure that every other major power gets it, right? China, Russia, India, Japan, all of Europe, North America, everybody is going to make sure that everybody else gets it. But the major powers will be sorely damaged. Africa is on the list. They want to make sure everybody, if they're going down, they're making sure everybody else goes down in the aftermath as well. Right? They set the system up. If I go down, you're going down. If not by bombing and warfare, by starvation. I'm telling you, this is these people's plans. And after looking at it, I saw that the only way to protect ourselves is to feed ourselves. Right? They talked about how, what would happen in the Middle East, right? Who would fight in the Middle East, right? Who would, and everybody's going to suffer some. Everybody's going to come down. There will be no city left untouched. And it's like the only way you're going to survive is if you got something springing up from the ground that you can nibble on, you'll be able to grow and manage and rebuild. Right? Their whole plan after war is to rebuild some type of war machine. Right? The same government with the same strategy and plan after World War III is to rebuild another type of war machine. And in all honesty, it doesn't make any sense to me, because after you've destroyed everything, and it's going to take you, centuries to get back and to build back and to get people, and but I know them. These people are persistent.
Yeah, they don't care about destroying.
They don't
get
care
what they want.
They don't care about the resetting of the clock, because they just employ the same tactics But they don't know, like, this is coming, and there's a prophecy concerning this, that it's going to be worse. There's no way for them to come out of it the way they planned. And I just like took the time out to just think about it and pray about it. And I hope that some of you will be able to, I hope that some of you will be able to understand and have the foresight to contribute to our own future. We've helped them build this so they could destroy everything, and they're only trying to guarantee themselves. This is our chance and opportunity right now, here in the last hours, to kind of make something for us, to continue to build for ourselves. It doesn't matter that it's small. As a matter of fact, the fact that it's small, it puts it that it's not on anybody's radar.
Right. Gives us an advantage.
You have an advantage in being small. But to look at the amount of people that the world is going to lose is tremendous. Like, it was a lot. And to see it, and you guys can look this up on YouTube. Type in World War III nuclear fallout, thermonuclear fallout aftermath. And there's a bunch of models and projections from some people who do know some stuff. Like, they're never going to project the West losing. You'll see that first and foremost. But you'll see everybody taking an L. And if you see that, then you know you always have to have a plan, because guess what? What if this goes even worse than anticipated? Because we're dealing with power that nobody has ever thought about previously, right? This is the type of destruction, this global level. So when you think about this, I just want y'all to just look it up. And if you can see it, if you find it, right? Now, given the current state of what the world is already doing, you'll find some recent ones. I found ones from 2 years ago and they were bad. I looked at the most recent ones and they were worse. So you look it up, you find it. After you find it and you see what the world will possibly look like. And they have little animations and videos and how they can see what would happen and what's the plan. And they have government documents about, well, in case of this, and they have this, and they're not lying about these documents. I want you to think about what I'm saying to you today and see if it's worth contributing $5 to start to have a grassroots community.
Yeah, because they're not looking to prepare a place for you.
Not at all.
They're not. You know, everything is going to happen and you will be affected. It's not going to happen around you and you're untouchable. You're not going to be rescued away, with a spaceship or some miraculous sign from the heavens come and gather you up. No, that's a
No, well, no. Actually, there is a miraculous sign, and you will be gathered up into the heavens because they have two attack plans.
oh my goodness.
One attack plan. One attack plan is the counterattack. Now, this is where they attack, hard military targets and infrastructure. The second attack plan, the second one, is counter value, where we lost this much people and population, and we're going to blow up that much people, population, and city centers to make it equal value. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, loss for loss. So the spaceships will come and they will rapture you right on up out of here. In the twinkling of an eye, you'll be gone. They plan to airburst the nuclear bombs over your cities. It will be just like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Go look at those videos. That's the rapture they planned. When they blew up those nuclear bombs and the flash of light hit and the people turned into dust on the playground,
That's your rapture.
that's the rapture that's coming. In the twinkling of an eye,
You be made to dust.
you'll be made to dust. You can watch this on any Terminator movie.
So I guess that'd be their way of being in heaven, huh?
Yeah, I guess. If you get to heaven, I don't think the Most High won't. None of y'all up there. So that's what I've thought about and prayed about this morning during my morning meditation, because I wanted to see where the scripture lined up and where we were. Because I've been talking about this and warning about it for a long time. And I wanted to see, after looking at it for 7 years, about where were we today versus when I was looking at the symptoms 7 years ago. And right now we are literally, we are literally days, months away from anything happening to actually bring us into this type of a problem.
And they've just been sidetracking us with all this other stuff, distractions. Thank you for keeping watch. Thank you for keeping watch.
So that's what I say. It's so bad that actually, if nobody gives, with a handful of seeds and a little bit of stores, you'll be able to actually just claim a piece of land and just start over and repopulate with a small group. Okay, we'll be back. When we come back, we're going to actually start reading. We're going to continue with learning this law, and just some food for thought. All right, so we left off in chapter 26. So we're going to start chapter 26 and verse 1. You shall not, this is the Most High speaking, make to you idols or images, nor erect for you statues to worship, neither a figured stone shall ye place in your land to vow yourself toward it. So this takes the entirety of all Christianity and throws that out. This takes praying to the stone, toward the stone in Mecca, and throws that out as well. Okay? So again, I'm eliminating all religion, leaving the basis of law. While they do pray correctly, there is only one sin attributed to the Ishmaeli, is that he took the worship of the Most High and he attributed it to his idol. It was an idol of stone. Okay? Nevertheless, a pavement sculptured with imagery you may set on the spot of your sanctuary, but not to worship it. I am Yah, your Allah. So can we have a stone statue decoration in the sanctuary for beautification? Yes. Can it mark entryways or gateways? Yes. But it's not to worship it or towards it. The days of my Sabbath you shall keep and walk to the house of my sanctuary in my fear. I am Yah. So there is a law to walk to the house of prayer, to come and to pray, to make sacrifices and to eat with the priest and make conversation. We sit, we discuss, we associate. It's a social time. But you walk there, so it must be within walking distance. Okay? But everybody can't get in the building. It's not about you going into the building. It's about you being in the vicinity. And the priests, they're able to move out too, so everybody can enjoy sitting with someone of the priesthood and eat with them.
And there's a place of sanctuary in each of the tribes,
Right. There's
so that they can walk to.
You have to think of it this way. The tribal lands are very large. The sanctuary itself, right, is also a large building, but it's only going to be those within a few miles of it, a mile or two of it, to be able to walk to it. Okay? So if somebody's far out in the field, they don't have to come to the temple. Okay? They don't have to come to the temple. They can go to any nearby Levite and just have a prayer and sit and discuss and eat. It's a place for the community to gather.
Wow.
So anywhere there's a place you can situate there, and I will get into it, but the Levites are scattered throughout the whole entirety of the land. And that's to make it accessible that anybody can come and sit with him. And wherever he is, there is a place of the Most High's sanctuary.
Wow.
Okay? If you will go forward, in the statutes of my law and keep the orders of my judgments and perform them, if you will go forward. That's a contingency. You don't have to go forward with these laws. You don't have to keep the orders of these judgments and perform them. You can die. That's your choice. Nobody cares. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and have pity upon you for your choices and decisions and the repercussions of your actions. Okay? So whether you do, whether you don't, you do have a choice. I'm choosing to go forward. It's my choice. Okay? And this to continuously continue to go forward, because it's not until after you test it, and then the tests have a way of coming around again in a different way, a different shape, a different form. It's coming at you high speed. So you have to know how to make your choices and continue with the statutes, the way of processing things. See? So if you move forward in the way of processing things of my law and keep the orders, follow the instructions of my judgments and perform them. So you think about it and you also do it that way. Then will I give you the rains for your lands and your seasons, the early and the late. And the land shall yield the fruits of increase, and the tree of the face of the field shall be prosperous in its fruit. And with you the threshing shall reach to the vintage. Now, the threshing, you thresh wheat, rice, grain, right? And it's saying that this will last because, you know, when you're making your wines, they make a vintage. So the threshing will reach to the vintage. It'll last till the wine is ready. And the vintage until the springing of the seed. So from the time the wine is ready to the time the crops sprout. Again, and you shall eat your bread and be satisfied and dwell securely in your land. So we are promised the land. We don't have one now, but we promised one. And this brings me back to what I mentioned in the first part.
Yeah, I was just thinking about
They
that.
never see this. They never see us living our own law in our own land. And that's because you don't invest in this. Right? You don't want to give money for this. You'll give money to a church and to your belief with the promise that you have some wealth or a ticket to heaven. But for you to have your own land and be secure on it, you're afraid to give toward this. It's time to put that fear aside. If we just give a little bit, $5, $10, we can have our own land and we can dwell securely on it with this law, with this legal system. And I will give peace in the land of Israel, that you may repose, lay down, and there be none to disturb. And I will make the power of the wild beast to cease from the land of Israel. And the unsheather of the sword shall not pass through your land. So the person who come to make war, he doesn't want to pass through your area. Now, I know what these prophecies are, but, you know, I'm not going to get into that. I'm just telling you, he's promised to make wild beasts peaceful in your land. Because, you know, black folk, we ain't playing with nature. We give you some food, you can go on about your way. We're not into all of that.
You know, I'm thinking about what you have said, what you have shared, and I'm reading this, and it's like, this is our preparation for what's to come. You know, this is our preparation. It doesn't look like what the rest of the world is planning. You know, they're planning their bunkers, they're planning their underground cities and all this stuff. But like you said, we as a collective, as a people, we don't have a plan. But there is a plan.
There is one.
There is one. And this is why you're constantly repeating over and over and over. Let's get this plan
Into action.
into action. Let's get it started. Let's follow the instructions that is given unto us by our God.
Right. Now, I'm going to reveal something to you. So, the day of judgment is not one day. It is a 1,000-year period. And it has already begun. And you say, what do you mean? How can you say the day of judgment has begun? It is because we've served 400 years. We have Jerusalem, the capital. And when I say city, like for Jerusalem was a region. So the entirety of what we call Israel today is just the region, the province of Jerusalem. And that has been under the ownership and the possession of the Hasidim, the Chaldeans, the Kasdim, for 70 years, same time. And you have the desert of Saudi Arabia and all of its provinces turning green. Mecca, Medina, they're flooded. So the land is so super saturated now, it's growing back meadows. Everything they're talking about for climate change is not working. The desert is becoming green again. Here in Jordan, we're in the same. Saudi Arabia is literally, not too many miles from here. Less than an hour drive. And it is turning green. So the day of judgment is part of a process. It's not a day like the sun go up, the sun go down on our time. But it's the Most High's way of processing and bringing the world into its maturation, into the next chapter. So this is where we are. So I just wanted you to understand that so that you could judge for yourself, right? I'm not here for no reason. I know I'm not the most popular guy on the internet. Neither will I ever be the most popular guy on the internet. But for those who find me, and for those who participate with me, and for those who build and follow this law with purity of heart, we will have great success. We will have all that is promised to us in this instruction. Verse number 7, and you shall chase your adversaries, and they will fall before you broken with the sword. And 5 of you will chase 100, and 100 of you put a myriad to flight, and your adversaries shall fall before you broken with the sword. So this law give us strength, give us power. Now, I'm not talking about supernatural. I'm talking practical strength, power, and authority in our land. For I will turn from the wages of the Gentiles. So you have to be employed by foreign nations right now, which we are. Everyone is receiving wages. To fulfill to you the recompense of your good works. So in the day you start doing this, then you receive the benefits of the good works because you're doing this law.
This is how you receive your
This is
reparations.
how you receive it. And I will strengthen you and multiply you and establish my covenant with you. So now the covenant is a covenant promise, and we have to establish it. You have to see it. You have to have the land, the buildings, the businesses, and everything else promised. The organization, the military arm to defend yourself. You have to have it, but the only way to have it is with the whole plan. You can't start the plan and then get a new idea and say it doesn't make sense. It's better if we do this other thing. You have to follow the plan all the way through, taking the wins and the losses, knowing that you will win the end game. And you shall eat the old, that is old, without having the cornworm. So we're going to have a way of preservation of food that doesn't have worms and parasites in it. You don't have that now. We don't have that now, right? We're taking parasitic cleanses now. Anti-parasitic cleanses, right?
Yes, we are.
So he's saying when you come into my system and come into my way, you won't even have to worry about it because there won't be any parasites in your old food. And the old from before the new produce shall ye turn out of your barns. So we have a process where we bring in the new and we eat in the old. And before we can eat the new, we eat in the old. And then by the time we start eating the new, there's new coming in.
Oh, his provision, I tell you.
And I will set the Shekinah of my glory among you, and my word shall not abhor you. It shall not hate you. So the Shekinah is to be set among us as a people doing this law, establishing a nation. It is not established among you for you to be in whatever country you in, working on your job, trying to get a house and a new car and impress the neighbors. No nation, no Shekinah.
You know, now it makes it clear why when in the past, when there are those who tried, like Black Wall Street, there in Florida, there Central Park, why none of that remained? Because that wasn't the way. This here is the only way, and it has to be within our land.
It has to be in your land. It has to be with this law. It has to be with these rules. It has to be with this system. This system was laid long before. It has standed the test of time now. Because we've tried everything else with everybody else. And everybody else has used their own system against us as a weapon.
That's why we can't be mad about what happened to those places. It wasn't meant for it to remain. It wasn't meant for it to stand. It was Yah's doing.
Right.
You know, that'd be hard for people to accept because they want to blame the devil. But no, this was Yah's plan. He's already established a plan for us to arise above.
Right.
We just did not know it. You know, we've only received parts of stuff from versions, you know, but now here we are having the opportunity to receive the fullness of what to do.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
So this way you see my word shall not hate you, abhor you.
Yeah.
Why? If you're receiving the punishment from this instruction, then following it, you can receive the blessing. It is just as real.
Yes.
If you receive the curses, then following this instruction with detail, the blessing will be just as real. Okay? But the glory of my Shekinah shall dwell among you, and my word shall be to you for a redeeming God.
So we had the land as our Redeemer, and now here we have His word
Is the redemption.
as the redemption.
As the redeeming God. So this word is treated like unto and revered as a God.
That's His memory.
It's the memra. You say this is a God? Yes, I'm telling you, the word of God is God. This is it. This is only thing you need to do what you need to do. And you shall be unto my name for a holy people. So it is the instruction that got you out of the situation. This law of redemption is what redeemed you. You participated in it. I am Yah, your Allah, who brought you out redeemed from the land of Mitzrayim, the west, that you should not be bondmen to them and break the yoke of their bond from off of you, and brought you out from among them, the children of liberty, and led you forth with an upright and erect, yeshar, stature.
So when He's saying that He brought us out redeemed, the redemption was His memra.
It was the
because
instruction.
the memra is the first word and the memra is the last word. So we've had the first word. Now we're in the time of the memra as the last word. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, if you'll go back to class 3, where Rabbi Sheikh teaches about the 10 words.
It starts with the memra,
and it ends with the memra. Got it.
So you're going to, no matter what happens or where you are, the way out is the memra.
It's the memra.
And that is the instructions. The way up is the instructions. The way to continue is an instruction. Right? How to bring something to an end. There is the instruction. There is an instruction for everything. This is the all-powerful, all-knowing information of God. He is not scared to tell you what is going to be, because that it will be. Not in an instant, but through a process that you may know that He is God. It is the fastest, slowest process you'll ever see. It's slow enough for you to understand and perceive, yet so fast that it happens and you cannot control it.
So with the first Exodus and the second Exodus, what makes it the same is because of the memra. Not that, the second Exodus will be like the first Exodus with a Moses.
Right.
But it's about it being the same Exodus because of the memra.
Right. You have an instruction to come out. You have someone who follows the instruction to come out, and they set up what the instruction says to set up. That's how the Exodus is the same.
Right.
The processes, however, are completely different.
Got it.
All right, we'll be right back.
Got it.
All right, and we're back. Verse 14, but if you be unwilling, so you have, I told you, you have a choice. You don't have to listen. If you be unwilling to hear the instructions of the doctrine of my law, and to perform all these precepts with your free choice. And if you despise my statutes and hate in your soul the orders of my judgments, to do not all my precepts, but your purpose be to abolish my covenant. So, first of all, if you don't want to hear the instructions that I'm telling you, and you don't want to walk in this doctrine because you don't like my doctrines, all right? You don't want to follow the precepts the way I teach it and the way I'm telling you, right? And you don't want to follow this of your own free choice, right? Because you despise these statutes and hate in your soul these orders of judgments that I'm telling you to do, to not do all these precepts that I'm teaching you, and your purpose be to abolish this covenant. You want to do something else.
Fantasies of your heart.
Anything else. I don't care what it
Yeah.
is. You want the French way, the English way, the German way. You want the Saudi way. You want the Iran way. You want every other way except for this. If you don't want this, and this is specifically to you sons of Israel, the sons.
Yes.
If you don't want this, here we go. This also will I do to you. Now, I want you to pay attention because this that I'm about to read is spoken to a people who the Most High is about to bring out from the West, from Mitzrayim, from the being bondmen, right? Having been brought in captivity who don't have a nation yet. I'm talking to black people, my people. In whatever country you are in whatever nations you may be found, okay? If you do not listen to what I am teaching you right now, this is coming because that's what this says. It's not stating for a pastime. This is stating for us in this current situation. I will draw out against you the smiting pestilence, the flame and the fever, to consume your eyes and to exhaust life. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for it shall not spring up. And that which groweth of itself shall your enemies devour. So if you don't participate with us in the plan that this has, it doesn't matter if you implement the growing of food elsewhere, the bunkering elsewhere, your enemies will eat that from you.
Oh, that's happening now. Look at the spraying of the vegetable, the food, and all this stuff. This is happening as we speak.
Your communities will be dried up and consumed. Just telling you. I will appoint a reverse to your affairs. So everything that you're doing and you mean good, you mean well, it will reverse. It will turn over. It will not succeed.
Like Black Wall Street and all of them.
Just like all the others. And you shall be broken before your foes. Again, you'll be broken before your enemies. And they who hate you shall rule over you, and you will flee when no one pursues you. So they're just going to run you off and let you run. They're not even going to waste time chasing you.
And this is JR doing this.
Continuing on. And if these chastisements, if after these chastisements you be not willing to obey the doctrines of my law, I will add to punish you with 7 plagues for the 7 transgressions. So if you didn't like the first one and you still don't want to listen, now I've been saying this for some time because I warned people about this 3 years ago. before when I told them COVID was coming. Now they're getting ready to get hit with COVID part 2. And you can call it a pandemic all you want. This time you're going to see it come right close to you, right next to you. It might even hit you. So now he's going to add to you 7 plagues for the 7 transgressions which you have sinned before me, before Yah. Okay? I will break down the glory of the strength of your sanctuary. So your safe place, right? I will destroy that. And will make the heavens above you obdurate as iron to yield no moisture. So now he's going to dry up the skies. You're not going to get any rain. Nor send you dew or rain, and the ground beneath you to be like brass, to put forth only to destroy its fruit. So now I'm telling you what's getting ready to happen. So I mentioned this nuclear holocaust. I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to have any survival. The land will be uninhabitable, not having any food. They've been spraying it. They've been doing this other stuff. When the Most High brings this next disaster, it's not going to have any food for you. You're running from your enemies with what little food you got. But remember, this was your choice because you don't want to follow the instruction under this law, under this instruction with us. And your strength shall be consumed in vain, for your land shall not yield, but what you bestow upon it. And the tree upon the face of the field shall drop its fruit. So now you can't even go to any tree and get any food because it's on the ground and bugs and worms is eating it. And so now you stuck in a famine. So now you get pestilence, famine, and war. I told you the Most High is not playing. So you get these, and it's multiplied by 7. Because there's only 3 things here. But he says you're going to receive these 7 plagues. So it's multiplied by 7.
So, quick question. In the book of Ruth, it talks about the 10 famines. And the last famine is the famine of his word. This sounds like famine here. What we're reading.
Yes, it is famine. Like you
From his word, of
you
his
refuse,
word.
if you refuse to hear it now, once you get in the situation, there's no one to deliver you. You will wish and hope that you had on your deathbed, but that being too late because you harden your heart to not hear it. And if you do escape from this, you had better get it right because it's not done in verse 21. If you still walk perversely with me and will not hearken to the doctrine of my law, I will add to bring upon you yet 7 plagues for the 7 transgressions which ye have sinned before me. Another multiplication of 7. And I will send against you the strength of the wild beasts to make you childless. So now the Most High gonna kill your children with wild animal attacks in this new hostile world. So you remember this nuclear holocaust, when the food gets scarce, the animals, they begin to eat anything. So what they going to hunt, right? Their food is dying. And now here you are with a little child. That's a little snack. That baby can't run.
Right. You become their food.
And you can't. You'll see it. I'm telling you. To make you childless and to destroy your cattle without, and to diminish you within, and your highways shall be desolate. So you're going to even destroy your roadways. So now you can't even drive nowhere.
That's happening in some places now by floods.
Okay, so now you can't drive nowhere. You got wild animal attacks. It's attacking the cattle. It's attacking the sheep, the goats, the donkeys, and anything else you was trying to eat. Right? I don't care if you're trying to eat rabbits, they gone. What? There's a food shortage. This famine comes. Everything that's trying to survive is trying to eat. You're gonna see the importance of food. You're going to wish you was here. But if you don't wish you was here, because that Negro think he got all the answers. Honestly, I don't have any. I just have a book and I'm just following instructions.
Yes.
But if by these chastisements, now you done got 7 times 7 twice.
That's 14 plagues. Ooh. No, 7 times. Oh my goodness.
You done got 7 times 7
49.
twice. And if by these chastisements you will not be corrected before me, but will walk before me perversely, I will myself also remember you adversely in the world and will destroy you, even I with 7 plagues for 7 transgressions which ye have sinned before me. So now I'm telling you, after the Most High has destroyed everything around you, everyone near you, then he gonna come for you to kill you. And I will bring against you people unsheathing the sword to take vengeance upon you. So they're gonna come with swords and weapons to attack you. For that you will have abolished my covenant. You abolished the covenant. Not that he didn't keep it. He's keeping his end. As I'm reciting you this law, this word, this doctrine, this teaching, to tell you to come and join in with us, this is the Most High extending to you the olive branch for you to come in of your own free choice and free will. If you refuse because you need to see punishment, so be it. And if you harden your heart, because it's a slippery slope, because once the bad things come, you start trying to justify yourself and you want to pray. And if you get a little bit of good things, then you want to bless your idol. You don't want to listen to this. Okay, now the Most High is going to now come and pursue you to kill you. And now he's killing you because you abolished your end of the covenant which your fathers made. I'm talking to black people. And when you have gathered, and when you are gathered together from the wilderness into your cities, I will send the pestilence among you. So now, listen, we're in cities now. War break out where everybody goes, into the wilderness. After the war subsides, they will regather and formulate new populations in this. Because we need to help each other to survive. We survive in communities.
Right.
The Most High says now, after you've survived the war and you survived in the wilderness, and now you're starting to rebuild where you are, you think it's over. I'm coming to send plague and pestilence to that city. And that's if you survive the people who came to rob you and send the sword and everything else. Now you in a new place. And I will send this pestilence among you, or deliver you to die by the hand of your adversaries. So either you will disease and infect the new place where you arrive, or he just send people to kill you in the wilderness. And when I shall have broken you, and when I shall have broken for you the staff of all subsistence of food, then 10 women may bake your bread in one oven on account of its scarcity, and measure and divide it to you diminished in weight, and you will eat and not be satisfied. This is not talking about you having 10 wives and enjoying yourself. It says this is 10 women working together to pull together to bake bread, only to break it up in little pieces for everybody to get a little taste. And now you're starving. So now we got 7 times 7, 7 times 7, and 7 times 7 again. They just keep multiplying. This is bad. But if by no one correction ye will hearken to the instruction of my law, but will walk perversely before me, I will also remember you adversely in the world and will chastise you, even I, with 7 plagues for the 7 transgressions which ye have sinned before me.
Another 7. That's 4 sevens.
Well, here we go. And you shall eat the flesh of your sons and the flesh of your daughters. Never mind the pedophiles raping them. You're going to get so hungry, you're going to starve, and when they die, you're going to start eating people, your own kids. Moshe, the prophet, Musa Rasulullah, has said how heavy will have been the guilt and how bitter those sins that caused our fathers to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters because they kept not the commandments of the law. And I will destroy your high places and overthrow your diviners and your enchanters. So, I'm glad we got this whole new spiritual movement. All of these people talking about manifesting this and manifesting that and this magic and that magic and this ether and this and that. I'm glad. Because now you can see it's all divination. Because they don't have no law. There's no book. We have a book. We have a law. We have an understanding. And I'm not saying the magic doesn't work. The magic does.
Yeah.
I don't care whether if you work with the magic of Christianity or the magic of magicians or whatever. I don't care what magic you work. If you one of the sons of Israel, you're supposed to be here under this law. If you don't follow it, this is what's coming. So I will destroy your high places. So all your places of worship and feeling good and, feeling good about yourself and, I will destroy your diviners, your enchanters, and your carcasses will I cast away with the carcasses of your idols, and my word shall abhor you. My word will hate you. So this is the hatred of the word. It comes out and it delivers to you these punishments. It didn't ask you whether or not you believe. You'll get it anyway. It doesn't ask you whether or not you believe.
No, because it's not about belief.
It doesn't ask you for belief. I don't require your belief. The requirement is that you follow the instructions and that you follow this law and that you accept this law. Now, if you decide not to accept it, this is another 7 times 7 you'll get. And I will make your cities desert places. So now you came out of a city Now you go into the wilderness, you come out of the wilderness, you go into another city, and now this city gets destroyed and becomes a desert.
Mm-hmm.
And desolate your sanctuary. So all the safe places that you thought was going to be safe that you came to, now they will be made desolate. Nor will I receive with acceptance the odor of your oblations. So now he's not accepting your food offerings, your prayer offerings. Now you may be even trying to sacrifice according to the law to make it better, but this is not what he asked. You didn't obey the instruction. It's not what he asked you for. He asked you to come in and buy back your land and join with us. And he asked you to come in and build and grow food here and make a preparation here because there is a specific order of doing things. And if you go about trying to do it your own way and joining in after you see this or after you see that, sin is a slippery slope, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
At any wrong turn, you don't know how much of this you'll have to see or when the roller coaster ride in. But a lot of people are going to see all of it.
And coming here, you have to leave your beliefs, what you think you may know, how you may know it. You have to leave that behind. Because here, we only go by this law. I don't care if you've been reading and studying for 40 years. You got to leave that behind. You literally have to become like a child and learn this law. You're having an opportunity now where you are by watching these videos to get a bit of a little understanding. It's one thing to just be reading. It's a whole nother thing hands-on. You can't come here with your own ideas because you know what? I'm letting you know now. I ain't trying to live what's being said right now. I'm not trying to live this. So, your actions not just affects you, it affects those around you. So you're coming here, you have to leave that mindset that you have, that you've got it figured out and you're righteous and you got to leave that behind and literally open yourself, humble yourself to really come and learn this law in the right way. Because I'm not trying to live this because, Rabbi Sheikh have said before, if you're not going to live by this law, you're getting out. And we have the law to confirm and sustain what he said. You're out the community. You're out of the camp, whatever you want to call it. You're out because we're not trying to live this. This is serious. I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, this is serious. This is no laughing matter. This is no joke. No, this is real. We always talk about how this has to be real in your life. This law has to be real. It's not a fantasy. It's not a dream. It's not a hope. It is reality.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not following this law the way that it is written, these are the effects. I'm sitting here counting the sevens. He has spoken it 4 times. 7 for the 7 sins. So I really hope you're really paying attention. What's going on
I
here?
told them it's 250 plagues.
Yes.
But they're not seeing even each one of these strokes is multiplied by 7. And the total number is 250. 7 times 7 is 49. And it does that. 49, 49, 49, 49, 49. This is 125. And then 49, 49, 49, 49, 49. And that's 250. So you'll be getting 7 times 7, 10 times. Foreshadowing the same plagues that happened in Egypt, the 10 plagues, but you'll be receiving them 7 times 7. Okay? We'll be right back. Okay? So we're back, and we're going to continue in verse 32. So the Most High is not accepting your oblations, because even if you say, I know the law, and you're going to be trying to recreate it in this land, trying to stay away from the plagues, the punishments, seeing that everything keep falling apart because you didn't follow this, you didn't hear this. So now you may be trying to take the teachings and the videos and say, well, we could just follow the instructions here. We'll just do it this way here. Okay. Don't work that way. And I, even I, will lay your country waste. So it doesn't even matter. You didn't do it here in your country. Black people, I'm talking to you. You don't do it here with us and build back the nation the way the instruction says. I'm a guru. I'm an expert on one thing. This. I am your guru. I am your sheikh. I am your king, your prince. You don't want to accept what I'm telling you about this? I am your leader. I'm the one to reorganize you and put everything back. You don't want to accept this? Okay, no problem. Wherever you go and whatever you set up and whatever place you set it up against this, Most High says, I will lay that waste. So do it your way. I don't care what you build. Follow Akon. Follow whoever.
Yeah, because see, what they don't realize, whether you come or not, we're still going to do what these instructions
I've been
say.
following this instruction. I've been following this instruction for 7 years. And there's no off-ramp. Once you get on, the punishment always come in getting off. So there's no off-ramp once you get on. Now there is a punishment for not getting on. See, I had a choice to get on or get off, hope somebody else do it. And I said, well, let me try it. Now that I get on, the punishment for me isn't getting off.
Right.
Now, because he has to fulfill a promise of a covenant to my forefathers, all my brethren have to get on or be punished. They have to get on. Okay. I will lay your country waste. Okay, that's the country you're in. And the spirit of quietness. You know that was the spirit, right? Quietness? I'm going to tell you about these spirits. Okay, so that he have a spirit of quietness. That the spirit of quietness may be upon it, so that your enemies who will dwell in it shall be confounded. You know what the spirit of quietness is going to be like? The whole nation. There is the no sound of people. It'll be like watching Quiet Place without the aliens.
So that the spirit of quietness may not be upon it, so that your enemies
who dwell in it shall be confounded. And you will I disperse among the nations, for I will stir up against you a people who draw the sword, and your country shall be devastated, and your cities be solitary. See? Quiet place. See? Quiet place minus the aliens. People just making war for people, hunting each other for survival. But the person with the sword is living hand to mouth. So he's just consuming, he is not producing. And those who are producing are being killed. So because these people know only war. I told you, they don't have no plan for them not to be in power. So they keep trying to gain control, but again, there's nobody in production. They don't have no law with any justice. And you, my people, you don't want to listen.
and they'll be dispersed. So there's another exile.
There's another. You see how many exiles there is? I told you it's 7 times 7. So once you set your foot down this path, it'll be 7 times, 7 times, 7 times, 7 times. So you're going to be traveling. There's 7 exiles. Okay. Behold, look, then shall the land enjoy the year of its Shabbats and all the days that it is forsaken of you. And you are wanderers in the land of your enemies. So after the Most High run you out and the place is desolate, then that country will have its rest. It'll have all the Shabbats because you off of it and your enemies is off of it. It will be uninhabitable. All the days that it is forsaken by you shall it rest, because it was not at rest in the years of the times for repose when you were dwellers upon it. So the land doesn't rest because of you dwelling upon it. You're causing the conflict because you wouldn't leave and send your little bitty change to come here and build something for you to come into. Everybody chip in. We're going to lose people anyway. You can't save everybody. This I know. Because, some people, they just stubborn. You're not going to come. But at least you can give, and that's one good deed to count against you.
So all the havoc that's going to transpire is your fault.
And unto those of you who remain will I bring the brokenness of their hearts in the land of their enemies, and the sound of a leaf falling from the tree shall put them to flight. He said, the sound of a leaf falling from a tree will make them run. And they shall flee as those who flee from the sword and fall and die. You running from a leaf rustle. Running. You're not even stopping to look. You're just running. And fall while no man pursueth. And they shall thrust each man his brother. So you're going to thrust the sword into people you know, your own brothers, your own sisters, your own people around you. As before them who draw the sword, though none pursue. So now here at the bitter end, you just plotting on the man next to you, and you say, I just better kill him before he kill me. And you shall have no power of resistance to stand before your adversaries. And you shall perish among the nations and be consumed with pestilence in the land of your enemies. And now another wave of disease come. More disease. Look, I told you. 7 times 7. It's not just one and that. No, it keep coming back around the same cycle, repeating 7 times. Each time increasing and making it worse, and people exacerbating and making it worse. And the only thing you had to do is give a little bit of money, get your little passport, come out here and build. Get a group put together, everybody contribute a little something, and we work together and we start growing and start producing. And those who remain of you shall fail, melt away. So now the remainers, so those who chose to go through the school of hard knocks because they want to be everything else. They believe everything else. I don't care what you believe. It never asked me for your belief. It just said, let you believe what you want. And you free, so believe what you want. But you will melt away for their sin in the land of your enemies. So you're going to melt away in the countries, wherever you are, as you run around. So it doesn't matter you in Canada, South America, the islands, Africa, Asia, China, Japan, South Indochina, the Philippines, Australia, Europe, or any of the other islands. Even if you're in the North or the South Pole, it doesn't matter. If you are my brother of my people, there is no place safe anywhere in the world except with me and under this law this way. And this is what's coming. And also for the evil sin of your fathers, which they held fast in their hands, like them shall they melt away. So you say your evil fathers. So you have the forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who Moses and even these people we're reading about now, who came into and was a Muslim to the law of God given to them by the hand of Moses. And then you have all the other religions that you in right now. Every other form of belief that you in right now, among all the other people that you in right now, because you refuse to come in and form a nation and form a people, this is what's coming. I talked about the nuclear apocalypse and how it will come out and how there's no plan for us to become a nation. However, this says we will form a nation and be in our land, and we will be a people.
Mm.
But after that nuclear fallout comes all of this. In the nuclear fallout comes all of this. And before the nuclear fallout comes, all of this. It just pile up on
Building
top.
up. Yeah.
So I'm telling you what's happening and what will be happening in the war, before the war, during the war, after the war. It is actually building up right now. And I'm telling you this because it is recorded. But when in the hour of their need they shall confess their sins and the sins of their fathers with their falseness, with which they have acted falsely against my word, and that they have acted frowardly also with me. So now, here's the exit. In this hour, when you admit that you wrong and you say, I tried to abolish the law of the covenant and I worshiped idols with the Gentiles and among them, and I did all these things, right? And I followed after the beliefs of my father and my grandfathers and them, and they was wrong. And with all the falseness, I lied. I didn't want to believe. I didn't want to accept. I didn't want to do right. I was hoping for another way. That you didn't want to come in, and I didn't want to believe he was the king or the prince. I didn't want to be under his rule. I didn't want to follow the law and the system that he was talking about. And I was also being a rebel against the Most High and his word. After you get through all of that, so that I have remembered them adversely in the world and brought them into captivity in the land of their enemies, behold, then will their proud heart have been broken, and they will make confession of their sins. And at that time, then I will remember in mercy the covenant which I confirmed with Jacob at Bethel, and the covenant which I covenanted with Isaac at Mount Moriah, and the covenant which I covenanted with Abraham between the divided portions. I know you guys don't know about the divided portions yet, but we'll get there. You got to go all the way around first. And I will remember in the land of Israel will I remember in mercy. So after you get all of that, and then you want to come around and keep the law, he'll help you find a way to come into this rule anyway. You can come into it now. You can come into it brokenhearted and devoid of everything. At which level of 7 you get. I don't care. I'm going to show you the reality of this law because you're going to get it anyway.
One way or the other. And it won't be because you suffering. It's because of the covenants that he made with Jacob, Isaac, and with Abraham.
They don't know, like, the Shabbat is a sign of the covenant, right? The Sabbath. And the Shabbatot, or the Sabbatot, is the signs, plural, of the covenants, plural. There's more than one. No, there's a whole bunch of covenants.
Yes.
The Most High loved covenants. He loved making them. He loved keeping them. And there's nothing better to him than seeing a covenant fulfilled. He loves it.
Because he's a man of his word.
But the land shall first be relinquished and forsaken you, and enjoy in repose her remissions all the days that it shall be deserted by you. And they will receive retribution for their sins. Curses instead of blessings will come upon them, measure for measure, because they shunned the orders of judgments, and their souls revolted from the covenant of my law. So now that the land has been relinquished and forsaken by us, this has come to pass. The other part, right? He says, the other part, this is coming. We're getting ready to get that. This part, he says, but first this will happen first. So we had to relinquish it fully. So now nobody's on it, except for, a few people in Dimona. Me, I'm out here, There's others in South. So now it's been relinquished, and we'll come to the part where we're going to get the punishment. Mosai says, yet for all this, I will have mercy upon them by my word. So, and at any point you decide you want to come out here, learn and follow this instruction, get in order, keep this word, get in line. You know what I'm saying? Get some understanding, get some training, come in here and you're going to set it up and set it up right. When they are captive in the lands of their enemies, I will not spurn them away in the kingdom of Babel, nor shall my word abhor them in the kingdom of Madai, to destroy them in the kingdom of Javan, or to abolish my covenant with them in the kingdom of Edom. For I am Yah in the days of Gog. And I will remember with them the covenant which I confirmed before me with their fathers in the time that I brought them out redeemed from the land of Mitzrayim, the west, when all the nations beheld all the mighty acts which I wrought for them, that I might be their God, their Allah, I, Yah. These are the statutes and the orders of the judgments and decrees of the law which Yah appointed between his word and the sons of Israel in the mountain of Sinai by the hand of Moshe.
This which has been spoken wasn't for them then. It was for us now. That's why you can't read this law like a storybook. No.
It's not. You have a storybook. You have the King James and all the other versions. This not it. This is why I told everybody it was a manuscript because it's detailed. It's outlined. It's predicating who's talking, when they're talking, what they're talking about, at what time, and to which group of people. It is precise. It's like reading somebody's novel. It's like reading any government document. It is telling you this is what the situation will be.
And you know, I'm sitting here and I'm like, we've become so consumed with the New World Order stuff, robots going rogue, cloning, all this other nonsense. I hope you give that same attention and drive to what we have just read and went over. And you know, I was going to come to a point of stop sharing some of the classes, but this class here, I'm definitely going to share. And I want to see how much this will be shared because, you know, nobody has answered our question yet.
To be honest with you, I got 2 replies.
Oh, did you?
I got 2 replies from 2 Gentiles. And they were like, isn't this not Yahweh? And I was like, I didn't say Yahweh. That's not what I said. But I do appreciate you, you know, pointing out that it is the God of the Hebrews. But where is it found? Anybody find out? Like, anybody have any more information? And I want to know why my people not answering, why they don't know nothing about this Yah, even though it's written in the Hebrew as Yod Yod, throughout all the Hebrew scrolls and texts, throughout the Tanakh. And even though it's written in Hebrew, it's only translated like this in the Aramaic. And I want to know where they find it. And can they find it? Who is this God? Because, you know, if you don't know who this God is, I mean, you're going to have a problem. Because he sure got a problem with us.
That's the one that's right up here in the corner.
It's up here, but somebody needs to tell me about him. Find the documents, find out all you can about this God. And I want somebody to tell me that this one is an idol. This one. It's up here in the corner. I want somebody to tell me this one is an idol. And where is it found? It was a god in Samaria. It was a god in Damascus. This was the god in throughout the area of Canaan. Somebody need to tell me about this God, because if you don't know about this one, you might have a problem with whatever it is you're doing and whoever it is you're worshiping or praying to, or in whose name you're praying. You might have a problem. If you don't know about this one, oh, I'm telling you, I don't know. So you might want to go and take a look, do a little research. Somebody need to answer the question. We'll see y'all tomorrow. One step, one step.
One.